Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back to my channel. And there we go, there is another 28-day check-in event where you can basically get a Dimension chest, a CTP Dimension chest right after today's reset. And since there's a lot of changes in terms of the new characters, new meta to be specific, since I made the first top 10 CTP video 2 months ago. So I decided to refresh to do an updated list of the top 10 best characters for each of the CTP, so it might give you a better idea of who to put them on so that you know what to do with those CTPs that you are having right now. So as always, this CTP list is just based on my personal opinion. You can definitely feel free to leave your own list in the comment box below. We can discuss together. And by the way, please leave a comment in the comment box below with what CTP did you get from the Dimension chest. So leave a comment in the comment box below and hopefully you will get the CTP that you are looking for. Alright, so without any further ado, let's get right into it. So let's get started with the best support CTP in the game right now. We got the CTP of Insight. So this CTP is basically made for those characters that you are going to use them as a support in the game instead of main hitters. There is no damage proc here, there is no invincibility like a CTP of Authority, so obviously you are not going to use a CTP of Insight on Jingray or Silver Surfer, but you are going to have a CTP of Insight on your PvP team, which is Colossus, and that's why he's easily the number one choice for a CTP of Insight. Basically, you are going to have Colossus in your PvP team to team up with either Jingray, Thanos or Silver Surfer, so a CTP of Insight is going to boost up your damage, which is an increased damage dealt to supervillains and superhero by 20%, which makes your PvP team even stronger. So other than Colossus, this is my recommendation for CTP of Insight. We got Phyla-Vell, we got Phil Coulson, White Fox, Valkyrie, Nick Fury, Shuri, Taskmaster, Ghost Panther, and last but not least we got Black Cat for support ability in the Speed Villain ABX state as the last one. So these are the best options when it comes to a CTP of Insight. Next up, we got the CTP of Transcendence. This is kind of like the low tier version of CTP, same as the CTP of Patient, and we'll talk about that in a while. So a CTP of Transcendence is basically made for those characters that doesn't have any value in those endgame content. So we are talking about those Shadowland characters or those Alliance Conquest characters. As you can see right over here, this is my top 10 best choices for a CTP of Transcendence. So we got Nimrod, we got Morgan Le Fay, Moon Girl, Crescent, Mysterio, Nightcrawler, Ebony Maw, Corvus Glaive, Hydro-Man, and Mr. Sinister. So a CTP of Transcendence is generally for those characters that have summons, that have clones as their main damage like Nimrod and Morgan Le Fay. And these are the characters that are not easy to die in general. So they're not going to die in 1 or 2 shots. That means they must be having some of the guard break or immunity or the invincibility to protect themselves and eventually staying longer in the battle. So they don't need those extra dodge from a CTP of Patient, and they are basically utilizing the ignore dodge to do more damage, especially against those Shadowland bosses that have a high level of dodge. Furthermore, when it comes to a CTP of Patient, this CTP is almost similar to a Transcendence except for the ignore dodge on Transcendence and the dodge on Patient. So same case, this CTP is not gonna do anything for you in those endgame content. This CTP is only for those Alliance Conquest characters or those Shadowland characters. And try to give a CTP of Patient to those characters that are having a very hard time to stay alive in the battle. So this is my top 10 list for a CTP of Patient. So we got War Tiger, Kitty Pryde, Hela, Loki, Wave, Ancient One, Ebony Maw, Corvus Glaive, Giant Man, and last but not least, we got Kraven the Hunter as the last one. So these are the Shadowland characters and they are just very easy to die in general. And that's why they need those dodge to improve their survivability. So a CTP of Patient is the best choice for these characters. Next up, we got the CTP of Rage. This is definitely the CTP list that you are looking for. So here are my top 10 recommendations for CTP of Rage. Since DRX was introduced and ABX system has been modified, the Rage list has been changed a lot. Lunar Snow and Captain Marvel are no longer the first or the second best option when it comes to a Rish. So we got Odin, easily the number 1 choice, followed by Ghost Rider, Doctor Strange, Lunar Snow, Nemo, Captain Marvel, Mystique, Magneto, Apocalypse, and last but not least, we got Dormammu for his usability in Universal Villain ABXD. So these are the characters that are going to work very well in all the PvE content from Shadowland to GBR. And these are the characters that are able to score maximum in Extreme Alliance battle, and they are able to do extremely high damage in DRX, especially Odin. Yeah, he's just that powerful with a CTP of Rish. However, this CTP is not going to do anything for you in PvP content. Yeah, of course the dodge is definitely helpful, but it's just not made for PvP. It's a PvE CTP. Besides that, this CTP is basically made for those characters that focus all of their damage on multiple skills instead of one skill. And the other thing you will notice that the characters here that are doing very well with the CTP of Rish are generally very difficult to play with the regular damage proc, like Odin, like Doctor Strange. They are just very hard to play with the regular damage proc, but with the CTP of Rish, it will be much easier. So these are definitely the best option to choose when it comes to a CTP of Rish. Moving on, we got the CTP of Energy, another PvE version of CTP. This energy list has been changed a lot since the last 2 months, but the first 3 characters has not changed. We got Sharon Rogers number 1, Cable number 2, and Beta Ray Bill number 3. But then the list starts to change a lot, so we got the new members here. We got Moon Knight number 4 and Medusa number 5. So these are the top 5 characters that can easily execute the one-shot method in World Boss Ultimate with just 2 or 3 skill combo. Like for example, for Sharon Rogers, it's gonna be co-op 5-3-4, and Medusa is gonna be 3 co-op and 6. And then the bar is gonna start melting from full to 0 within the first 10 seconds. That is just amazing. They can do the one shot, which is a CTP of Energy. So these are the top 5, and then the remaining top 5 is gonna be Dr. Octopus, Deadpool, Mystique, Quicksilver, and Scarlet Spider. So this CTP is gonna mean a lot to you in all the PvE game mode from Shadowland to GBR. And some of these characters can even score very high, near to maximum in Extreme Alliance battle with just a CTP of Energy, which is Beta Ray Bill, Cable, and Moon Knight. So these are the best option when it comes to a CTP of Energy. Moving on, we got the CTP of Destruction, the half PvE and half PvP version of CTP. So this CTP is basically made for those characters that are able to handle both PvE and PvP game mode. You need the Goblet of Immunity, you need the Penetration for PvP, and it also gives you the damage proc and the critical damage, which are essentially important when it comes to PvE content. So this is my top 10 list for CTP of Destruction. We got Captain Marvel number 1, followed by Deadpool, Blue Dragon, Black Widow, Yelena Belova, Spider-Man, Ant-Man, Captain America, and the God of Thunder, and the last one we got Dr. Octopus. Now the reason why I include Dr. Octopus in the list, not because he can do PvP, simply because he can easily execute the one-shot method in World Boss Ultimate, even with just a CTP of Destruction. You know, not many characters can do the one-shot with the Destruction because it doesn't have the chain hit damage like a CTP of Energy, and that's why Dr. Octopus is deserving to be on the list. But the majority of the characters here can do both PvE and PvP except for Octopus. So there you go, these are my top 10 recommendations for CTP of Destruction. Next up, we are gonna talk about CTP of Judgment. This CTP is mostly made for PvE, so it's not gonna do anything for you in PvP. So this CTP has an increased damage to all elemental damage and the decrease all resistances by 30%. So I would suggest you to give this CTP to those characters that deal elemental damage. So these are my top 10 best pick for CTP of Judgment. We got Beta Ray Bill number 1, Dormammu number 2, Ghost Rider number 3, and then followed by Lunar Snow, Professor X, Storm, Scarlet Witch, Blue Dragon, Iceman, and the last one we got Apocalypse. So there you go, these are my top 10 recommendations for CTP of Judgment. Moving on, we got the CTP of Greed. This CTP is mostly for PvP, but it also has a little bit value in PvE, but mostly PvP. So this is my top 10 pick for CTP of Greed. We got Jean Grey, we got Silver Surfer, Thanos, Dormammu, Doctor Strange, Odin, Quicksilver, Deadpool, Nova, Richard Rider, and Black Widow as the last one. This CTP has a guard break, has an ignore dodge, and it also has a small portion of healing and the increased damage dealt against speed, universal, combat, and blast. So that means if you are fighting against a universal character, it's gonna be a 5 seconds of proc out of 10 seconds. That means you're only gonna have the proc every 5 seconds out of every 10 seconds. So the damage is gonna fluctuate a lot in between the 10 seconds, but still, this CTP is still gonna be very useful for PvP, but not really in PvE. So there you go, this is my top 10 list for CTP of Greed. Moving on, we have the CTP of Authority. This CTP is mostly made for PvP, so this is going to be decent to those characters that you want to use them in PvP, like Doctor Strange, like Jean Grey, Thanos, Silver Surfer, Apocalypse, Dormammu, Odin, Scarlet Witch, Nova, Richard Rider, and Nimrod. This CTP has a guard break, has an invincibility, and the true damage accumulation, which is essentially important when it comes to PvP content. It's like a budget CTP for PvP, so if you don't have a lot of greed or regen for your PvP characters, a CTP of Authority is not a bad choice either. Moving on, we got the best PvP CTP in the game, the CTP of Regeneration. So this CTP is basically made for PvP game mode. You got all the PvP thing here, you got the guard break, you got the shield, you got the max HP and the healing, which is all related to PvP. So this is my top 10 list for a regen. Those PvP meta like the Immortal Hulk, Silver Surfer, Dormammu, Thanos, Jean Grey, Apocalypse, Deadpool, Wolverine, Odin, and Gladiator are the best characters to choose when it comes to a CTP of Regeneration. So those characters that have the revive ability like Silver Surfer or Jean Grey is gonna be more valuable because they can take advantage of a regen for at least twice because of their revive ability, and that's why they are super powerful in stuff like Timeline Battle and Alliance Conquest. And last but not least, we got the CTP of Refinement. This is generally the worst CTP in the game. In my opinion, this kind of like the budget version of a CTP of Regen. It only has that max HP, the healing, and the recovery rate. That's it. The guard hit is not gonna do anything for you in any of the game mode, to be very honest to you guys. But anyways, this is my top 10 recommendation for CTP of Refinement. We got the Immortal Hulk as the number 1 choice, followed by Colossus, Blue Marvel, Wolverine, Abomination, Destroyer, Calipsidian, Luke Cage, S23, and the last one we got Victorious here. It's not Victorious Gaming, it's the Victorious in the game. So these are the best option when it comes to a CTP of Refinement. Alright guys, so that's all for the CTP guide, and hopefully you will get the CTP that you are looking for. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell, and thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.